Sandwell. We've got more canals than Venice and a place where innovative pioneers cut their teeth with people such as Bolton and Watt. A region that was smelt like the iron and the forges of the Industrial Revolution that preceded it. A key partner in the workshop of the world and 6 towns built by the hands of the men and women who live there. And that industry is just as relevant as it is today as it was then. Heading full into a cultural revolution, a place that was bombed and rebuilt, a region that gave the world heavy metal and changed the face of modern football for good with the arrival of Cunningham, Batson and Cyril Regis being at the forefront of the fight against racism in the 1970s. It's 6 towns mushed together who love each other like siblings. You can go to Oldbury, West Brom, Wednesbury, Smethwick, Tipton, Rowley, Regis or Cradley Heath and you'll find a welcome nearly as good as the curry. But you may struggle with the accent, but it's busting when you're used to it. You've got the roar of the Hawthorns on a Saturday afternoon willing on the mighty Baggies, taking in some of the rarest bird life in the country by heading to Sandwell Valley. Take a nose around some of our fantastic manor houses, or if a tipple is your thing, don't leave without having a pint of Blackheath IPA. It's historic as it is cultural. It's home to a world architectural gem with Galton Bridge, built by the famous Thomas Telford. There is the largest boudoir in Europe. There is even a town named after Odin, making it one of the few places in England to be named after a pre-Christian deity and fortified by Alfred the Great himself. It's a place that champions new ways of thinking and innovation, from our pioneering waterways to Stuckey's Mars, giving it the first public showing in the country. And yeah, it can be a little rough around the edges, but when you scratch the surface, you can see why it's so special to us. You might call it interesting, we just call it home. Sandwell's council house story started before the 1919 Housing Act, and the first local authority built home was erected in West Bromwich in the 1880s. Like all other parts of the country, we suffered from slum living and something had to change. So it did. It set in motion the 6 council estates that we have today. Those are Friar Park, Tibbington, Charmont Farm, Lion Farm, Hatley Heath and Glebe Fields. But hey, the best people to tell you about what it's like to live in those areas are the residents. Let's meet a few.
I've lived in Sandwell all of my life, specifically Hampstead, as in Hampstead Village, the mining community, and I am that old, I can go back to the time when my parents lived in the old back-to-backs. Fortunately, I'm not that old that I had to go out the backyard to go to the toilet. We did have an indoor toilet by the time I came along, which was very nice. I've lived in Hampstead all my life, as I say. I moved away briefly for a short time, but it is my comfort zone, so I came back. And I like to think at the moment that I'm putting something back into the community by getting involved with our local TRA, the Hampstead Village Tenants and Residents Association.
First and foremost, I started living in council houses when I was 0, because I lived in Cranford Street, which is a very old street in Smethwick. It was a back-to-back with a thunderbox up at the top of the bath, so I could have what you have to do. We moved into a 4-bedroom house in Causer Street, and at this time, neighbours were neighbours. We all helped each other, there was and this encouraged me in latter life to start up groups, because I think people need to get on with each other and help each other. We still do it now.
It's very nice in somewhere. And I was living in London, so I lived come to Birmingham so long, so I wouldn't live anywhere else besides in somewhere, to be honest. It is fascinating. It is a challenge. So I like challenge, so I challenge myself. And I don't think I will move from somewhere. It's a fantastic place to live.
So let's see some residents in action. We went out to Hatley Heath Council Estate to meet Essex Avenue TRA to see what they think.
The people that are here are people who've been here a long, long time, and they like Hatley Heath. I mean, as far as community cohesion is concerned, I mean, years ago, we had all street parties and things like that, but nowadays that's gone by the by, and Essex Avenue as a TRA, are trying to reinstall this sort of atmosphere, and we have annual events, particularly here on Somerset Green, because we think it's a lovely spot, and the wider community can come and join us, and by that way we're hoping that the kids will be good citizens and people will take responsibility for their area. I mean, the houses around here are lovely family homes, and more or less people years ago they had big families. Now it's not so many, but the houses are just so nice for families.
So what does the future hold for Sandwell when it comes to housing? We caught up with Alan Caddick, Director of Housing and Communities for Sandwell Council.
I think the future's really bright for housing in Sandwell. I think the history that we've got in Sandwell of providing good quality housing will remain. We have our 2030 vision, and we've also got our emerging corporate plan, where quality homes in a thriving neighbourhoods is very much a key part of it. So, what have we got in Sandwell? We've got a big stock of housing, not enough, but we have nearly 29,000 properties in the borough, and those properties are prime properties for people who are wanting accommodation for those in need. So we need to cherish those properties and make the best of them. And with that, we're investing significant money within our stock. We have a £486 million programme over 10 years, which is going to invest in refurbishing our stock, but also building new council homes. Our council house build programme, we've got about 600 in the programme, and we are very much a leading light in building new council homes in the country. We built 1/5 of the council homes in the country last year, for instance. And we'll continue to develop our council house build programme going forward. Those properties are, as I say, very, very in high demand, but at the same time we're losing properties to the right to buy, so we've lost over 1,000 properties in the last 4 years to right to buy, and that's a big challenge for us in terms of how we maintain our stock, with right to buy being a real issue for us. But what we are about is communities, and what we're trying to do is change the way we work with our communities, work with our tenants and residents associations, and make sure that we've got them on the journey with us. I think the whole thing coming out of the Housing Green Paper will need us and require us to work with our communities differently, and the tenant voice that is very important in that will be to the fore.
For more information on Sandwell Council, please visit sandwell.gov.uk.